Yes, sir. Perfect, thank you. Thank you.
So how much stuff is on?
I don't know if your mom was working or not.
Now, that's sort of stucco part, there's no brick to it, there's no wooden slats, it's all stucco.
Steve is running the meeting. I'd go there, she's got a few more.
So what kind of, is it in good shape, the stucco part? So it's not like mud, it's not like the stucco you're talking about, the styrofoam stuff, it's like really hard.
He's going to,
So it looks like it's held up pretty good, the stucco part.
he's going to be part of the meeting. David is going to give you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's really nice, man. You have nice things. Oh,
Good to see you.
I'm done with it.
No, your eyesight's just getting dim.
Hey, bro, come on, you all right? Oh, yeah.
One of the things that we've done up
Oh, yeah, on the lake? Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like where I'm at. I don't totally need some specific, can you see it? It's 2,600 living, it's bigger than I want, I really don't want that big, I'll be honest with you. Right, I don't want it this big, I'll be honest, it's too big. I'd rather put the size, you're talking about 2,000? You don't want animals. You really don't want animals, because you know what they don't, you're thinking about, like I'm here now. I got two girls, one of them will be moving out to week. Well, there'll be one wing you won't go to, except the office, that office is spare bedroom. Other than that, there'll be 2 bedrooms.
Meeting to order with the tell him he was going to speak to sign in at the sheet and please print.
So it's the sun porch is
Okay,
screen.
there's a sign-in sheet at the front. At the,
Oh, thank God.
just follow the agenda, we're good.
I was trying to read, and reading is one of the things that I
Yeah, oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm so
Yeah.
weak.
I tried to get a new head, but they wouldn't even trade in on the old one.
80 feet.
My beans.
Where is it?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's on my planning commission agenda. You can skip it or just wing it. Just bang the gavel, call the meeting to order. Ask everybody.
Miss anything, somebody goes. Yeah, I just kidding.
Probably you've done this before, you can help. You've done this before, you've done a beautiful job.
Yeah, I said, perfect. I totally get that.
I'll do this if you need something.
Yeah.
Okay, if you miss something, if I do this.
I'd like to call the meeting to order now. First, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. First, I'd like to remind everybody, especially myself, silence all cell phones and anything that can ring or make noise. I'd like to have roll call at this time.
Gary LeBlanc's here.
Huh?
I'm here.
Yeah, that's, we don't have a,
Yeah.
do it yet.
Lynn, you got me?
Bring it up.
I've got you on view only,
Right.
so Scott, okay. We've got Scott, Grover, Steve, Gary, and Gary, look, long you're on view only.
Huh?
How do we tap onto this thing?
Okay, I got him now. You're present, right? Okay, we're
How,
good.
how do we do it on the screen?
Do what on the screen?
You did.
You already did it, you're up.
Oh, just when I checked in?
That's when you checked in.
You already did.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting as read. As they stand.
In a second, okay.
Do we have any correspondence or messages or memos from anybody in the office they'd like to share with us?
Not at this time.
Okay. Start the public hearing. Our first hearing will be held, and we will close the public meeting and have a vote on that, and we'll go to the next item. The first item is a request of variance to allow reduction of the front building setback and possibly the side setback for Tim Callahan at 3011 Rosario Street, Port Allen. This lot also faces Highway 415. Mr. Callahan, if you would, tell us what you've got. If you come up to the podium and sign your name, and please print, so we'll have that for the minutes.
Good evening, Board. My name is Tim Callahan. My wife Gina and I own the property at 3011 Rosario Lane in Port Allen, Louisiana. I am requesting a variance to allow me to reduction on the front setback, which faces Highway 415, and the side setback, which faces Teresa Altazan's property, due to the odd shape of the lot, the nature of the lot. My plan is to build a metal building that I will use for personal storage.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I plan to build a metal building I'll use for personal storage. In the future, if I would have an opportunity to do something commercial that is respectful to the neighborhood, I would want to be able to explore that option. I don't know that at this time. The lot is zone C-1.2 commercial. I plan to use the Highway 415 side for access to and from the property. I have talked with both adjacent property owners, which is Troy Martin and Teresa Altazan. Neither one has any concerns with my request. Thank you for your consideration of this matter.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask?
I visited with the property with you, and you were talking about 3 different places for an adjustment.
Yeah, it's actually, well,
And it's not on our diagrams, the reason I'm asking.
it should be. It's actually, if you look at the, if I can approach,
Yes.
show you the diagram. This should be one we have.
Yes, but see, we don't have that one over here on this
It's
side.
already 10 foot.
Okay, it's 10 foot already,
It's already on 10 foot now.
and you were asking for additional there?
Yeah.
Yes.
On the side, and then this front right here.
Okay.
So it's two sides.
No, that's,
That may be what's on the back of that page.
no, what,
I'm sorry.
it's still not showing here an adjustment. It's only showing it across the top, which is the 2 points. There was actually 3 points,
I see.
which is a side, correct?
Are you asking for a variance on the property that meets Ms. Altazan's property?
Yeah, if that would be
10
that
foot
one
now.
side, that would side, yes, 10 foot, that's what I had the building set at right now, at 10 foot. So that would be the side that I'm asking to have a 10 foot on that, and then the point on Highway 415, which is the two points there. I'll be happy to show this to anybody who wants to see
Yeah,
it.
could you bring
They
this?
have
This is already on 10 foot, adjoining Teresa,
Okay.
then there's a point, and there's a point on Highway
Yes,
415.
I see. So the drawing is at the 10-foot point?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions? Yes, sir.
Mr. Callahan expressed that he's interested in building an accessory structure for his personal storage. I just need to point out that in section 105-5 of the parish code, the only time you're allowed to have accessory structures is when a primary residential structure is on the property. So even though he's asking for the setback variance tonight, and that's a whole separate matter, we do want to point out on the building permit application, there would have to be a primary residential structure at that site in order to get the permit for the accessory structures. And that's all I wanted to point out at this time.
Thank you for that. Did everybody hear that?
So what I'm getting is, even if we give him a variance, he's not gonna be able to have a building there without a primary residence building?
Yeah, it's section 105-5. It says accessory structures such as utility sheds, carports, boat ports, or workshops may be constructed on the same lot with a residence. And that's the key word, with a residence. And so that's not a very well-known part of the code. It's kind of tucked in there pretty tightly. You kind of have to dig it out and look at it. This issue has come up before, and that's been the precedence that the parish has determined, is that you have to have a primary residential structure in order to get permits for the accessory structures.
And is there any sort of variance made for a piece of property like that that does not have room for a residence?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, what we've been advised by attorneys in the past is there's a difference between a variance, which is a slight change to the rules, and something like taking a code provision like that and just kind of throwing it out the window. That would probably be setting bad precedents. You'd probably want to amend that code if you didn't like that language, actually go in there and change that code language. But right now, yeah, that's the precedent that we have on the books, that you have to have the primary structure on the property.
May I ask if that's, because it's already zoned commercial, so that is for commercial as well?
Yeah, so anytime you're doing something residential in nature, regardless of the zoning, you have to have that structure on the property in order to have a. Now, the flip side is that if he wants to use it for commercial, that's perfectly allowable. So it's kind of a catch-22. He can use it as a commercial use, just not as an accessory residential use.
If he used it for commercial, he wouldn't need to put up a shop with, no, that would be the shop.
That would be the
Yeah.
commercial use,
Okay.
yes, sir. Yeah.
Well,
So is there any kind of a conflict?
if he does commercial, this 10 foot, he would need a variance on that also, because in commercial it's 20 feet.
That's kind of why I was asking on that side back
Right,
line.
on this outside side of the property. You know?
And that would give you the 20 feet with the 10-foot variance?
Yeah, well, it'll be, if you look at the footprint that I showed you, that would actually work out, so the variance would be 10 foot towards Teresa, and then the 2 points that sticks on Highway 415. And this is, I didn't know this at all, but then I guess you'd classify it, because the property's already commercial, then it's commercial. I mean, I don't know how else to do it, because I'm not planning on living on it.
Excuse me, Mr. Gallant, and I apologize, he found that this afternoon, late this afternoon, so that was way after the time that we had talked. But also, if it's zoned commercial and you use it for a commercial site, your front setback is 30 instead of 35, as it is with the residential. So you wouldn't need as big, you still need a variance for your
Okay.
front setback, but you wouldn't need as big.
A variance or an
on the
adjustment?
front. Well, this is the Board of Adjustments for variances.
You would probably miss that little piece of the corner, but you'd still catch the big portion where you, I think you showed.
Yeah,
me a
you may
picture where
catch,
it was-
you may
it
catch
was
that one longer
it was
piece. a
12
little
foot
bit.
9 inches, I think,
Yes, you're exact, 12 foot, yeah.
that
12
had to
and a half.
go in, so you would be 5 foot less than that.
Correct.
Kevin, just
So
to make
be
sure I
Right there, and
understand.
you would
because
probably
he's not-
miss the other one. The other little corner is what?
3
Yes, you would miss
wide
that.
and 6, it would
You
miss
would
it
miss
then.
that, so you would need a
He's
variance
already asking for.
to get this far corner and a variance on the opposite side of the property
Correct,
to go 10 feet instead of 20.
He's asking.
right, which is
We'll make it
expressed in
20.
the stuff there on the side.
Kevin, to make sure I understand, he's not leasing these out to folks to rent storage spaces, therefore it'd be for personable use, like you're citing the code?
He's got to answer that.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't planning on it, but I mean, if I'm locked in where I'm not putting a house on it, I'm gonna use it for personal storage. And if an opportunity comes up like I expressed, it would, for commercial, then I would look at it.
Should he put it in the name of an LLC with that?
It already is.
So, it's gonna come down to the building permit and what actually gets put on the permit itself. If he puts on the permit that's for residential use, obviously we cannot permit that. If he puts on the permit that's commercial use, we can permit that. If we get any complaints from the neighbors and have to do an investigation, we'll try to get to the bottom of what it's actually being used for.
Okay.
What type of, he says a metal building, what type of structure? I mean, what is, it's big, one big door?
Yeah,
two
Mueller
door?
Building, it's the, one main part of the building is 30 by 60, and the other part of it's 20 by 50. And one door, all doors facing Highway 415.
Okay.
And maybe one entry door towards Troy's property would be on that,
On the side?
south side. So, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. But I don't quite understand it, but it's already commercial, so that's what's kind of throwing me for a loop too, so.
As I understand it, just overview, I may have missed something. It's commercial property. If you ask in your request and put commercial, then you should be okay, or he needs another 10-foot on the side.
Now,
Or the 10-foot he's asking for, we'll make it
We'll-
20 feet.
should cover
for
that,
commercial
right.
property.
right.
Then I guess the easiest thing right now is go commercial, then I guess just,
Yeah.
that's it. I mean, that's all I could,
Like I say, it's probably not, big enough to do a residence that you might
No.
like, so it'd be fine for a small commercial.
So is there any wording on the request that we have to change before we can vote on this?
No, I think it's really, it's two separate matters. I mean, first of all, he's asking for a setback variance. That's irregardless of how he's gonna use the property. My point for bringing that up is just that we just discovered it today. We didn't wanna mislead him. He's here tonight asking y'all for a variance. Should y'all grant that variance? We didn't want him thinking he could put up a residential accessory structure without having a residence on the property. So just to bring that to his attention tonight on the record.
So you would have to do this separately. When you get your permit, you'd have to do it under commercial. But that has nothing to do with what we're doing. We would either
He
give.
still needs the same waivers.
Right. What we would be doing here tonight is just granting a variance. He'd have to go on from there and get his permits under commercial, or he couldn't continue. Does anybody have a motion they'd like to make?
Ask if there's any information from the audience.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anybody in the audience have anything they'd like to say? Neighbors, anybody?
Is there any objection from the neighbors?
when I was out there, I saw this gentleman,
Troy.
and I saw, Don Curville, I think, and they didn't, neither one of them objected to it. So, you know, I didn't see anybody that objected, and nobody's here to object, so.
Sir, were you here for this meeting? We're just about to conclude.
No, he's here.
That's Richard Sonia.
He's the next one.
He's the next one.
Excuse me, I'll get a picture list of everybody next. All right, does anybody have, well, that'll conclude the public hearing on this at this time. At this time, we're gonna conclude the public hearing. We're gonna continue here, we'll make a motion and decide on that matter, next.
I move we accept the request for adjustment.
Okay.
Hang on. 3A. Item ready?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Thank you, Donna.
Okay, this matter has been accepted and seconded.
Unanimous.
Your variances given.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Okay, the next matter on our agenda is a request for a variance to allow a reduction of the front setback at 3130 Halls Lane in Brewley for Richard Sonia. Yeah, it's an 80-foot by 85-foot lot.
Can we change this one for us?
3B.
Thank you.
Mr. Sonia, would you like to step up to the podium and give us an idea of what you're looking at? Please speak your name and write it on the paper up there, print it, so we can put
Okay,
that.
Richard Soniat? Yeah, yes,
If
sir.
if you would, write your name on the paper, print it so we can put it in the minutes, please.
Okay, sure will. Yes, sir, I'm trying to get a variance on Paul's Lane. Right now, it's currently a 35-foot setback. The lot's not but 80 feet deep. So it would kind of confine me to do what I need to do. I'm trying to get a house moved on it. And it'll be more in line with what's existing currently. Most of those houses are set back anywhere 20, 25 feet at the most. So
It's
that's,
an older existing neighborhood.
yes, sir. Yep. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Have you spoke to your neighbors and?
I have. I spoke with one this afternoon. He was confused on what he needed to be up here for, and I just explained to him, I'm just trying to
Oh, he didn't have to, it's just. if
Well, he was
concerned
asking,
about
he
it.
was asking about it and wanted to come up here and he wanted to know what it was about. And I explained to him, all I'm trying to do is just get in line with the rest of the houses as opposed to being so deep off the road. And they don't seem to have any objections.
All right. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to say something on this matter?
Well, we wanna find out how far back he really needs to go. We need to be 10 feet back.
Would you come up to the podium, please, ma'am?
If you would, speak your name and then print it on the paper, please, so we can put it in the notes.
My name is Leela Jones, and we know with the residence, you're 35 feet off the road, 10 feet from the property line. So we just trying to find out, is his house gonna be on the property line, or do he need some feet, or what? That's what we're here to find out.
So your question is, will the house go to the property line?
Yes.
Okay, can.
It can't.
According to his drawing right here, he's gonna be 10 feet off of it one side, 39 feet off the other side, 14 off the back, and 25 off the front. So he'll be well within his property line.
Okay.
You know, what he's asking for is on the front side,
Front.
on the front side to the road, it's a 35-foot setback, okay?
By rules.
By rule, okay? What he's trying to do is move his house forward a little bit. He's lining it up with the other houses that are right there. And it'll give him a little bit of a backyard. You know,
Okay,
he'll
so
have
he needs to
14
go
feet for a
up to the
backyard.
road a little more, right?
Ma'am?
He needs to go up a little
Instead of
more.
Yes, ma'am.
35 feet,
Instead of
the road,
35,
the rules
maybe
say
30.
But
He's asking for
he
25 feet.
yeah, he won't be any further than any of the other houses on there. I went by and looked at this property. It looked like you demolished something on there.
Yes, sir, old house.
There was a lot of tin and stuff like that around there. The lot is vacant right now. So all he would be doing would be moving it up just a little bit closer to the road than what it's called for in the new rules and regulations. Back when those houses were built, there was nothing like this. So when the parish came in, they just kind of did something, and they have to have a board like us to say, yeah, you can move it back a little bit, or no, you can't. But he's not gonna be encroaching on the neighbors anymore. His side setbacks are okay. Okay, and his back setback would be 14 feet off the line. He's just gonna be, instead of 35 feet from the road, he'll be 25 feet from the road. Okay?
This happens when the zoning rules were made, taking into consideration new zoning, new houses, new buildings, schools and such. And there's a lot of older neighborhoods, it's an older community. And it couldn't incorporate rules for all the 100-year-old houses or 50-year-old houses. So when it comes up, we've had this many times before. What we usually look for is the person asking for the variance doing what's already there. If all the houses are about 25 foot off the front, and that's what somebody's asking for, that seems reasonable unless a neighbor has a problem with it. That's how this came up, is the new rules and old housing.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything they'd like? Yes, sir.
Come to the podium.
Could you step up to the podium, please? If you would speak your name and write it on the paper for the notes, the minutes, please.
My name is Jimmy Johnson, and I'm a relative of the family
Yes.
that has a property that's gonna be behind him. So what you're saying is he's not be coming back toward the property line at all?
No, actually, he'll be going away from the
Going
back
away.
property line. That is Mr. LeBlanc said, to give him a little bit of a
He
backyard.
has 4 extra feet on the back.
Yeah, what, 4 inches?
He'll be 14 feet from the back property
From the
line.
fence property line, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
But he will be within the confines of his yard. He won't be on anyone else's property.
Yeah,
in his
okay,
line.
I understand.
All right, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Rhonda Grace, and my parents' house is next to area that we're, next to the lot that we're talking about. This will be a house, Mr. Sanye, that, a regular quote-unquote residence where, okay, no group home, no, none of that? Okay, good. Let me write my name and I'll go sit down. Thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else have any questions or like to make any statements? All right.
Do y'all have any objections with what he's doing? Okay, thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Thank you for being interested. We appreciate you.
So our motion,
You can make a
You gotta close it, Steve.
Yeah, make sure nobody had any other questions. At this time, I'd like to close the public meeting and we'll have a vote on the matter.
okay, I raise a motion that we close this section of the public hearing.
The public
I'll
hearing's
second it.
closed. You want to make a
Make a
motion for
motion
the
to
item?
accept.
Okay.
There you go.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
And I'll second it.
okay.
Very good.
Unanimous.
All right.
Very good.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we gonna adjourn this meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
At
I'd
5:25.
like to adjourn this meeting.
Good meeting. Easy, huh?
Too bad.
Yeah, they just didn't understand what the variance was all about. They thought it would be encroaching on their property.
Yeah, always.
Look,